Okay, picture this. A single thread way thinner than anything in your shirt, but it's so strong it could hold up a full-grown person. Now imagine weaving millions of those threads together into a soft, flexible fabric. That sounds like something straight out of science fiction, right? Well, it's not. It's the reality of Kevlar. And that brings us to the big question, the one we're going to unpack today. How on earth can a material that feels like cloth be, pound for pound, 5 times stronger than a bar of solid steel? The secret, it turns out, isn't about being big and bulky. It's all about its design on a microscopic level. It all comes down to chemistry. So our story kicks off back in the 1960s with a chemist at DuPont named Stephanie Kwolek. Now get this, she wasn't even trying to invent some super material. She was just working on a new lightweight fiber for car tires. Along the way, she created this weird, cloudy liquid that, honestly, everyone told her to just throw out. But she had a hunch. She trusted her gut, spun it into a fiber, and bam! She realized she had stumbled upon something truly extraordinary. That happy accident was Kevlar. Right, to really get what makes Kevlar so powerful, we have to think small. I mean, really small. We're going to zoom all the way down to the molecular level, because that's where the magic is happening. That's where we'll see exactly how it's built for incredible strength. So the technical term for Kevlar is a para-aramid fiber, but let's just push the jargon aside. A much better way to think about it is like a perfectly woven basket, but on a scale you can't even see. Every single strand at the molecular level is perfectly straight and lined up with its neighbors. This creates this incredibly dense, super-ordered structure that is just almost impossible to pull apart. Now, what's so wild is how these 3 things you see here work together. First, you've got these super long, ruler-straight polymer chains, kind of like uncooked spaghetti. Second, those chains are locked together side by side with something called hydrogen bonds. You can just think of them as these tiny, powerful magnets pulling all the strands together. And third, the whole structure is in perfect Bridget alignment. When you combine all that, any force that hits it gets instantly spread out across millions and millions of chains, so no single one ever has to take the full hit. It's genius. Okay, so we've got this amazing recipe at the molecular level. But how do you actually take that blueprint and turn it into a real, physical fiber you can use? Well, that's where this really clever and super precise manufacturing process comes into play. It's all designed to lock that perfect structure in place. And this shows you exactly how it's done. It all starts as a liquid polymer. Then that liquid gets forced through these teeny tiny holes, almost exactly like a spider spinning a web. It hardens up in a chemical bath. But here's the most important part, the real secret sauce, that last step. The fibers are stretched out while they're still setting. That final tug is what yanks all those molecular chains into that final, perfectly parallel, super strong alignment. So we know what it is, we know how it's made. Now for the fun part. Let's look at where you actually find this stuff. Because, yeah, body armor is what everyone thinks of, but Kevlar is this hidden hero in tons of products you probably use every single day without even realizing it. Of course, we have to start with its most famous job, protection. When you have a bullet-resistant vest, it's made of layers and layers of this woven Kevlar. They act like a super strong net. The fibers catch the projectile, absorbing and spreading its energy across the whole panel. They stretch, but they don't break. It's a literal lifesaver. And it's no exaggeration to say this material has saved thousands of lives. But check out where else it shows up. In transportation, its strength-to-weight ratio is a total game changer. It makes tires stronger without making them heavier, which actually helps improve fuel efficiency. And get this, it's also in brake pads. Think about the insane heat from friction when you slam on the brakes. Well, Kevlar can handle that heat without falling apart, which is, pretty critical for staying safe on the road. This comparison to a steel cable really drives the point home. A rope made of Kevlar has similar, sometimes even better, tensile strength, but it weighs a tiny fraction of the steel version. Oh, and unlike steel, it won't rust. Ever. That's a huge deal. It's why they use it to moor gigantic offshore oil rigs in the middle of the ocean. And the list just goes on and on. Its reach keeps expanding. It's woven into the body of the planes we fly in to make them stronger. It's in high-performance tennis rackets and skis to make them stiffer and reduce vibration. It's even wrapped around the fragile fiber optic cables that bring us the internet, protecting our connection to the world. But, for all its incredible abilities, no material is perfect. And that brings us to the next chapter in the Kevlar story, its life cycle, and its impact on the environment. And here we have the Kevlar dilemma. On one hand, it's amazing. Its durability means things last a lot longer, and because it's so light, it helps save fuel in cars and planes. But on the other hand, it's still a plastic, made from fossil fuels, making it takes a ton of energy, and its greatest strength, its incredible toughness, also makes it incredibly hard to recycle. See, here's the fundamental problem. Kevlar doesn't melt. If you heat it up high enough, it just burns. So you can't just melt it down and make new fibers like you can with other plastics. Right now, the best solution is to basically shred it into a pulp. That pulp can be used in other things, like new brake pads, but this is what we call downcycling. It's better than a landfill, for sure, but you lose those amazing high-performance properties that made Kevlar so special in the first place. So Kevlar is still this incredible benchmark in material science. It's proof of how engineering things at the tiniest scale can completely reshape our world. But it also leaves us with a challenge. As we look to the future, what new materials are we going to invent that can give us this kind of performance, but also be sustainable? And what unexpected happy accidents, like the one Stephanie Kolek had, will lead us there?